So let's talk consignment services. As always, we start in our docs site for LogTrade Connect. We're going to getting started, walk through topics and additional services. And we need to distinguish between a consignment service, shipping agent service in Business Central and an additional service. An additional service can be like cash on delivery or a notification or advice service or kind of extras that you want to add to your specific consignment. And we will talk mainly about these three topics. How we can specify default property values, because many services has properties like an SMS notification service might have some kind of SMS template ID. And we can create defaults for that so the warehouse personnel don't have to manually add data to the consignment. And the services, well, we create carrier independent services in Business Central, which we in turn have relations to carrier specific services. And then we can create service rules that enables an automatic services. So when we create a consignment, we can automate, so we always create certain services. So let's take a look inside Business Central. We can actually go to the Role Explorer and explore and go into the delivery and set up services. So here we have those three. So let's start with the services. You will get these generic services when you install LogTrade Connect. All of these has one and only one relation to a LogTrade service. So if you take a look at the email advice, it has a relation to the generic forwarded LogTrade email advice service. It works for all carriers, all carrier products. But if you want to, you can create new services here. Like, let's just call it test, okay? And start creating relations, saying that when we use test with TNT Nordic and the 0900 Express, they have like a dry ice service. I have no idea what that is, but as you can see, you can create services inside Business Central and create relations to different carriers specific services. So if you have like DHL Europe and this is just nonsense, but I think you get it. You can create your own services with relations like this. But the services you get when you install, those are the ones that use services provided by LogTrade, and those are independent of carriers. So no matter if you use DHL or a carrier that you have specified yourself, you can always use these services. So that is the list of services. And if we go to the Role Explorer again, we have default values. So let's take a look at that table. This might seem empty, but if we expand it, so these are all defaults that we apply regardless of shipping agent service code, and so forth. So you see that you can create rules here that are specific to maybe one single customer or a shipping agent. Let's scroll to the right. So this means that whenever the property advice template ID is needed, we will use a calculated value that is calculated based on the language code. So as you can see, we can calculate different many kinds of values here. Or when account type occurs, we will use bank Giro. And this has a fixed list of options that is provided by Logtrade. And some of these can be free text. Finally, we have the rules. So if we go into the Role Explorer again and take a look at the rules, this is where we set up the rules when to apply services automatically. So if we say that for every time we create a consignment based on the sales order, we want to use the email advice service. So let's create a sales order. And go ahead and create consignment. You can see that we have a service linked to the consignment. If we go back to we delete the consignment, let's roll back this. We actually have the services created on the sales order. So if we go here, look at the Consignment Services. This is where we first insert the service. So if I delete the service here, create the consignment, we don't insert the service here. If we delete the consignment, we go back to the sales order and say that, well, I want to have SMS notification. And create the consignment. We will have SMS notification on the consignment. And you see we have one property, but we do not have any missing property values. If we look at the properties, the template ID is based on the language code of the customer. Remember to make sure that if you use SMS notification, you will need the mobile phone number. And if you are using email notifications or advices, you need the email. Okay, we will also take a look at how we can add services manually to consignment, because what we saw recently was just rule-based services. So let's create consignment. And we can add service here. This will post a request to Logtrade asking what kind of services can we add to this consignment. And we will get a response back saying, well, you can use these services. So I want to have the pickup at the terminal. And this doesn't have any properties, so it's just finished like this. Okay, so one service here, I can add one more and pick up a terminal. Okay, since we've chosen that one, we have limited the services that we can use. So let's choose the email advice also. That has one property, so we will have the next button here. And we can just verify that, yes, Swedish template is okay. and finish. And now I have 2 services. So that was Consignment Services. Thank you very much.